What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Stub Show. I thank you guys for joining me yet again for another episode where I bring you guys resources, new connections, and testimonies. It's all about helping you guys to take a leap of faith in life and understand that life be life. There's no perfect way to being a human being. There's no book to how to do it. There's no instructions. You can get advice. You can get tips. You can look at other people experience and learn, but going through your own experience, taking your own journey is the only way to really learn about life. But here on the Stub Show, we bring you ways and people who have been along and went through different journeys in life and have testimonies to share of conquering trials and storms because they're going to come. There's no way of getting around it. And when you're going after success, or when you're trying to conquer your goals, or when you are just healing and becoming a new person and relearning about life from being a child, you have to go through some things. And that's the only way to get to the perfect you, because we are imperfect people with perfect things about us, meaning, well, not perfect. Let me find a way. We are imperfectly perfect. How about that? We are imperfectly perfect humans. So I have a special guest coming on tonight, all the way from Australia, to give us some tips on parenting. But before I go too far, let's just go ahead and get this show started. I'll be right back, you guys. Firecracker in you because you be like, I just realized my mic was on mute, but it is time to get ready to introduce my special guest for today. Before I do, remember, you guys, we are now streaming on 3 different platforms. So make sure that you follow the show on all platforms so that you can join the discussion at the Stub Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And remember, if you have any comments or you would like to join the show, please make sure that you put your comments over in the comment section, and I will try to do my best to make sure that I get around to your questions and check. Also, it's time to hit the share button. Share, 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 share. Tell your friends to come on. Those friends that want to have children, that have children, that need some parenting tips and advice. Tell them, get on this show. This is the show for them. But my special guest for tonight is hailing all the way from Australia. Y'all know that I'm not always good with names, so I'm going to start out with just calling her Miss Scott. And when she comes on, she will pronounce her first name for you properly. She's with Fantastic Futures. Like I said, she's from Australia. Miss Scott is the founder of Fantastic Futures, a transformative coaching and therapy practice dedicated to guiding families through their birthing and parenting journeys. With over 20 years of experience as a certified doula, childbirth educator, prenatal therapist, and family coach, Miss Scott brings a wealth of knowledge and compassion to her work. At Fantastic Futures, Ms. Scott approach is built on 4 core values. Those are holistic support, empowerment, seasoned expertise, and compassionate collaboration. Her mission is to help families create positive birthing and parenting experiences, addressing challenges such as birth trauma, anxiety, and self doubt. Fantastic Futures offers personalized therapy, online courses, resources for managing anxiety, and strategies for creating lasting family transformations. There's so much more you can learn about Fantastic Futures on their website at www.fantasticfutures.au. But right now, I'm going to get ready to bring my special guest on who says that it is morning time where she is and it's nighttime where we are. So, all the way across the world, good afternoon and welcome. Good morning to you and good evening to me, and welcome to the Stubb Show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, we thank you for joining us here on today. How's your morning going so far?
Pretty nice. I've had my grandbaby this morning, so it's been beautiful.
Okay, what is the weather like there?
Well, as you can see, I'm outside because my fan in my office is being fixed, and it's stunning. There's blue sky everywhere. You can't quite see that, but it's yeah, absolutely beautiful today. We're in spring.
Oh, okay, you're in spring. Okay, so I
Yeah,
see you don't have on a coat here. If you were here, you would need a coat on outside.
not today, not here. No.
Mhm. So thank you for joining us here on the Stubb Show. We're going to go ahead and get your interview started and get things moving along. I don't want to hold you too long because, as you said, you got grandbaby in there and she needs your time and attention. So, what made you want to getting to take that leap of faith and get into the business of coaching and helping with parenting?
Well, for me, it came out of my own personal experience. So when my eldest daughter was 16, and I have four daughters, so there are only 6.5 years from my first to my last. So my youngest was about 10 or 9, and my eldest was 16. And I got to a point where I fell apart. So I was experiencing adrenal fatigue. I'd had some traumas in my life, including the birth of my children, and that had prompted me to do the work around becoming a birth worker and doing that doula work um, and being really involved in families beginning their journey. But that's kind of where it fell off for me for quite a while. I would teach mothercraft skills, but it was really about how do you handle more than one child? How do you how do you keep one baby occupied when you're feeding another and those sorts of things, wearing your baby, all of that. But as my children got into those teenage years, I really discovered that my own need to work and be really busy was actually impacting my children. So I did some healing, and as part of that healing, I then needed to repair some relationships with my children. And so I went on a learning journey of being able to really um, restore those relationships and bring it back to where it had been when they were much littler. And that's not easy when you've got teenage girls. They have
Mm-hmm.
long memories, and so it took quite a lot of skill building. And so part of that for me, and the way I'm wired, is that when something impacts me and I can see that there are ways to prevent it happening for others or to support them through their journey of healing and restoring their relationships with their children, um, I um, I am willing to throw myself in to help others have a better journey of it, and just realizing how important it is to really be aware of the decisions that you're making when your children are little and how that impacts them later on. And I don't think we talk about that enough. The fact that your decisions when your children are young are going to either come back to bite you or they are going to reap rewards.
I thank you for that honesty of saying, you had to repair some things with your
Mm,
children from your decisions or things that happened in the past, when they were younger. That, like you said, they have long memories and they're ready to throw it back in your face when they get old enough to be able to say it and get away with it. But that's the truth because there's no perfect way to parenting and it's not easy and we make mistakes. And as you said, we don't talk about our mistakes or our problems or admit how we messed up and might have dropped the ball as a parent and it later affect them. And if we don't acknowledge and admit those things, it's no way we can repair it. You can't fix it because you haven't even acknowledged that you did it. And it's not
absolutely.
it doesn't feel good. And it's not easy because you have to dig deep and you have to realize that, you know, this is happening to them maybe because of me, or maybe because of this and because of that. And it just is not it's not a fun place to be when you have to do that. But I think as parents, we should do that.
Absolutely, we should. It's about taking personal responsibility. And that's not about blame. It's simply about saying, okay, I messed up. I parented the best I knew how at the time, but there are better ways and I can do better, I can be better. But until we take responsibility for the past and the actions that we've and it doesn't matter whether we're parent out of our own trauma of being parented, we still have to accept responsibility that we are now in a position of power. We are now in a position where we get to either break the cycle or continue it on. And if we want to be that circuit breaker, want to change the pattern for the next generation, then we take responsibility for the past, and that gives us the understanding and the knowledge to then go, okay, well, if I'm responsible for the past, I'm also responsible for the future.
Hmm.
And as being responsible for the future takes us out of victim mode and into what do I need in order to be able to do this better? Do I need therapy? Do I need coaching? Do I need skills? Do I need community? Do I need support? What is it that I need in order to be able to do better as a parent? And
Yes,
then you
that
do it.
yeah. And like you said, it starts with healing within yourself as a parent, because you have to heal to move into that place, to not look at it as blame, or look at it like you said, we human, it's no perfect way. And then a lot of us are parenting from our traumatic childhood, or the things that our parents told us it should be. And they are parenting from all that they know, and bringing it to us. So like you say, it's breaking a cycle. And even with me now, I'm listening to the show, I'm like, I mean, well, I'm talking with you, I'm like, there are some things that, even myself, I have to dig deep to go into, not just healing for me and getting me together. Okay, well, now how did I affect my children with that? So my next question is, because we have so many people that are thinking about being a parent. And like you said, if you can get some help before you start doing it, get the help now, because it's
Yeah.
a lot. It's a lot. And I want to salute you for being able to get through 4 girls. Okay. I
They
only
call
have
they
two
call
boys.
they call my husband Poor Trev.
Cool.
My husband, they call him Poor Trev with four
Oh,
girls.
and a wife.
Yeah.
And a wife. So, what are 3 things that you think people should know or prepare for before becoming a parent?
Uh, okay. So I think the first thing they need to understand is that they have the decision making power for everything. Look into your choices, look into your options, and that includes right from how you receive pregnancy care, how you receive birth care, um, how you choose to do that. Because when we have a disempowering birth, it disempowers us as a parent, and we can take that feeling of failure or feeling of not being enough or knowing enough into our parenting, and it can actually put us in a weakened position within ourselves and our ability to follow our intuition. Parenting is all about intuition, and you actually have within you everything that you need. But if you're blocked by something, so my second suggestion would be, first of all, look into everything, question everything. Why is it done that way? Do I need to do it that way? Is that relevant for me, or is that relevant for somebody else? Secondly, do the work. Do your emotional work first if you can, because trauma is passed down through your DNA.
Mm,
And if you can clear your trauma through before you get pregnant, and even if not during your pregnancy, then we actually can stop that being your baby's story. And we've got a lot of babies who are hypersensitive, who are anxiety riddled and so on, right from birth. And that's because the pregnancy and everything that they were given during that space has been like that. Babies take on what they need to know about the environment they're about to go into
mm.
and they prepare their nervous system for that. And if there's lots of cortisol running around, if there's lots of adrenaline running around, then they're going to come out thinking that they need to be high in adrenaline and cortisol all the time. And
Mm.
so we have a lot of anxious babies. We have a lot of kids with asthma, and we know that asthma is linked with high stress levels in parents. So the more stressed you are as a parent, the more likely you are to have a child with asthma. So this
Wow.
has long-term effects as well. So really do your own work. Um, when I'm working with parents, the basis of my coaching is the mental health therapy and the healing. And we do that first. And then everything I teach them after that for the coaching, it lands and they can do something with it because there's no blockages. And I think the third thing is be prepared that parenting is a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week job. I don't think many people prepare for the constantness. They forget about nighttime parenting.
Mm-hmm.
The birth is, I think the birth is a can be a challenging thing for people, but it's there to set you up for the real challenge. The
Mm-hmm.
real challenge is, getting up and changing the bed sheets 7 times in a night because your child's been vomiting. It's not, and it's doing that 3 nights in a row with 4 children or whatever it might be. There's the nighttime parenting takes people by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So be prepared and have things set up to support you if you can. Find your village, because that's really important. So those would be the three top things that I would suggest new parents need to know and understand.
I like what you mentioned within that second one about, and the first, that all of them are good, but doing that emotional work and just preparing the baby while it's in your belly. And that's not just for new parents, that's for parents that, like you said, that already have children. You got to think
Mm,
about the environment that that baby is in. Is there a lot of arguing? Are you stressed out every day? Are you eating unhealthy? What are you doing to nurture this baby and your mental state? Because like you said, we don't think about why the baby is in it. Everything is just pushing down to that baby. And I never knew that stress is something that can cause asthma within
mm,
children. And like you said, a lot of babies are being born with problems. And we're like, well, the parent didn't do drugs or this, but what else did they do?
yeah.
That affected the baby, or they didn't think about doing, that could affect the baby. So that's good. That's good information that people don't think about, and also the things that's already coming in the with the parents. I mean, with the father and with the mom's DNA on top of extra stuff. So we got to really take care of these babies and prepare ourselves, and most importantly, the mental health piece. That's a big thing. So you mentioned something on your website about birth workers. Please
Yeah.
explain to us what that is and how do you assist with that?
So birth workers are any people who work in the birth space. So that might be a doula who
Mm-hmm.
attends birth. It could be a midwife. It might be, could be things like lactation consultants and postpartum doulas and things like that. So anyone who's involved in that birth, the world of giving birth, and generally speaking, obstetricians are birth workers, but they're not. They don't tend to provide any emotional support in that space. So I don't necessarily include them, but there is a huge need for birth workers to do their own emotional healing work. And they can't, they often don't have the tools to be able to do that on their own. They're not mental health workers, so they don't understand how to heal. They're often exposed to crazy amounts of coercion, um, and they're watching women be the victims of obstetric violence, and so there's a lot of vicarious trauma that goes on for birth workers. But there's also a lot of birth workers go into birth work because they want to, like I did, they want to save women from the experience that they had. And it's not, but the problem is when they go into a birth, and they are carrying with them all of this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they actually have the capacity to negatively impact the birth, because they're holding all that negative energy, and the law of entrainment really can impact that birth. Um, So yeah, so I do a lot of work with the mentoring. So I have a space for families. So the Family Architect Studio is a membership space for families where they can come in and get advice and those sorts of things. And I actually have an extra membership available to birth workers where they can come and get coaching and mentoring and so on top of the health, the mental health side of things and the therapy side.
I love the work that you're doing, and I'm glad that we have this opportunity to connect to share your services with the world because I like how you're looking at things. I see the holistic approach, and I see how you're birthing within the mindset of people that before you have that baby or while you're carrying that baby and even birthing that baby, you got to pay attention to the energy that's around you, the frequency. And like you said, we don't think about with the nurses, the doctors, the doulas, the people that's birthing these children, what they have to see because we know the police see traumatic things. We know doctors see things within surgery, but they're also seeing when a mom have a stillbirth, when a mom, miscarry, when a woman goes through a situation where the baby is born with a defect or something is going on and the baby is rushed away and that's an impact on them too because you feel it. They have to
Yeah.
see this mom crying and the effect of trying to calm her down after that and the emotions and carrying it at home. And if they don't have a release factor,
Mm.
it's stuck on them. And eventually that job becomes, I need the money and I enjoy doing it, but it's stressing me out. You
Yeah.
know, they're taking on that to their relationships and to their home. So I really like what you're doing. And then they're grabbing that baby and helping. You don't need no bad energy birthing your baby out and putting that onto your child. You want it to be good. So we're getting ready to go into a quick break, you guys. And then we're going to be right back here on the Stub Show with my special guest. I'm telling you, this is good. This is really good because we don't think about this stuff as we're having a baby. We think about the food we're going to eat. We think about all those type of things, but we don't think about what we need to be thinking about. So we're going to take a quick break and come right back on with my special guest to talk to you guys more about parenting and parenting advice. Now, y'all know I'm going up here. I'm putting this information in for you guys. So hold on. Here we go. Yes,
Hey,
our
what's up, you guys? I just want to let you know that I am seeking book authors to become a guest on our show. Now, it was Instagram Live, but now we're on all three platforms: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So, this is your way to grow and reach more people. Don't forget to email us at the LOF Network at gmail.com. And you can become a guest on the show and also have your book placed within the show. All right, you guys, I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Hey, you guys, make sure you keep the conversation going and join us on YouTube at the Leap of Faith Network. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and also keep the conversation going on Facebook weekly with our updates at the Stub Show. So make sure you go on there and like that as well. Also, if you just started a brand, took a leap of faith, or have a business and you want to share your testimony, your backstory, how you got things started, then we need you as a guest right here on the Stub Show. It's time to take that leap of faith, so connect with us so we can help you. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Stub Show. Remember, if you are a book author and you want to be a part of the show, you have a product, you can just DM me or inbox me, email, whichever platform you're on, and connect, and we can get you as a part of the show. Yet again, I would like to give a shout out for our continued book sponsor. This is Mr. Author Dayon McLaren Johnson. Becoming Lion, an exploration of mentorship and the quest for identity. This is a great book. This is something that our youth need right now is mentorship, and we need more adults to sign up to participate in that all across the world, because there's a lot going on with our youth and our children. I am on with my special guest, Miss Scott, all the way from Australia, from Fantastic Futures at www.fantasticfutures.au. We are welcoming her back onto the stage with us. Um, to talk about parenting, because that's what we were talking about. Parenting is not an easy thing to do. And I don't know about you, but I know already I need to go back and do some correcting and some repairing with my children. So thank you for joining us. I forgot to ask, how do I pronounce your first name?
It's Philippa.
Philippa? Okay, Philippa. Philippa, that's a nice name. That's different. I like it.
Thank you.
So before we left, we were talking about parenting and some things about it, and the birthing part. Now I want to move into my next question, which is parenting can become exhausting at times. What are some things that you advise people to do to keep from becoming exhausted daily as a new parent and just as a parent?
I think the thing that's missing for most parents is a lack of village.
Mm,
There's a lack of a village to support. We were never actually meant to do it alone.
mm-hmm,
We weren't. We were meant to do it as part of a team, and so it's really hard to show up every day without support, even whether you're married or not. It was never meant for just two people to do that work. You were always meant to have people around you to support you, people to bring you food, people to come in and help you fold the washing, or to take your child for a couple of hours so that you can be you can just be you, or you can get a few jobs done, or you can soak in a nice hot bath, whatever floats your
right.
boat. But we were never meant to do it alone. And so I think, in terms of from a practical perspective, what can we do to avoid exhaustion? Find your village, create a village. When I had my first child, we moved 1,400 kilometers, so it's about 700 miles, I suppose, from
Mm-hmm.
my family, and I didn't know anyone. I'd had a 3-month-old baby. I was new to the parenting world, and I didn't know anyone except my in-laws, who were out working with my husband from 4 in the morning through to about 4 in the afternoon. And so I had to find my village. Now, it took a while to do that. It took a while to cultivate my tribe,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately I did, and I found an incredible supportive space. And we would, as mums, we would help each other. And I'm passionate about teaching people how to do that, how to create that community around themselves so that they can thrive in parenting. And there are times when it's going to be exhausting, but if you know that there's someone you can call when you've just hit that roof, and you need to have a break, it can make the world of difference. So cultivate your community.
Yeah, that village is so important, but we living in a time where people are just crazy, and a lot of parents are scared to leave their children with someone, even if it's their own parents or family members, and they just don't have that. But like you said, they need to get some advice and find ways to get that village, because we also have parents who have become more than exhausted and mentally
Mm,
challenged and looked at their child as an enemy or a problem, and have taken their life or the child's life because
yes.
they didn't have that village or didn't have that support and someone to go to, and that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's happening there is that their bucket is already full. So if we don't do the emotional work, we have a bucket of water, and think about that as being your emotional capacity. Your bucket is your emotional capacity. And if you've got lots of traumas, distressing events, and periods of stress in your past that haven't been dealt with, then your bucket is usually fairly close to the top. And you might only have to pour 1 cup of water in before you've got a spillage, right? So when we do that emotional work, we're actually draining the bucket, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like putting in a little release valve, at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
like you just got a plug at the bottom. You can pull the plug, and you have tools to pull the plug. And that's the work I do with people, is to help them. First of all, we drain their bucket, and then I give them the tools to be able to just drain that bucket anytime something comes in. But because they're not full to overflowing, they don't bleed out all over everyone. They're not overwhelmed. And there are small ways that we can do that work by really, understanding and learning how to drop our energy so that
Mm-hmm.
we're not living in this heightened space and being buffeted by the world around us, but we're actually able to drop down, change our emotional state, and really live in a space that is less exhausting for us and that is safe and strong for our children. And I teach that in my 5 minute miracle course. It's a little mini training, but it's so powerful for just using less energy.
Right. And you need that you need to be able to do that because if you're a single parent especially, your bucket as soon as you had that child went to 50%, because you don't have that other parent there to help you. And then like you said, you're pouring in every day, you're working, you're cooking, you wear all these hats, you're a driver, you're doing all these things for you and this child. And then if you, God forbid, you have another child on you, it's even more work. And you have to find a way to get that help. And like you said, parenting is 24/7, but it's also a lifetime thing because
Mm.
when these children become adults and then they have kids, like today you have your grandbaby with you become a super parent because you're a grandparent, so not only do this child need you, their children need you, and hopefully you live long enough to see their children, your great great grands. So you have to find ways to empty that out. And I'm so glad that whatever happened in life, it got you to this leap of faith to be able to do this because you have the energy, and it seems as if you have done the work and you use your own experience. Because I'll go back to yet again, 4 girls. That's a lot, so that's a lot. So I also want to get into some of the myths. There are so many myths about parenting. What is one or two myths about parenting that many people believe that you think is totally untrue?
That it has to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and that we have to that we have to um, Hmm. It's really hard to answer that question without giving a bit more context. So when we parents, we are made to parent from intuition. We are made to parent from that intuition that says, I know what my child needs. The problem that we have in our society is that we, first of all, we're not empowered from early on to trust our intuition. In fact, the entire maternity system in the Western culture removes all potential intuitive knowing from a woman before she even gets to giving birth. Everything is the expert will tell you what to do, and so there's we don't know how to tap into that intuition. But it's also partly because we're told that we're supposed to manage our children's behavior, all of that sort of stuff. And instead of managing our children's behavior, what we're actually there to do is to have a relationship with our children and treat them and guide them. So we think about discipline, but discipline has many meanings. And discipline is, it actually comes from discipleship.
Mm-hmm.
When we disciple to someone, we or act as the disciple to someone, we teach them, we guide them, we love them, we give them mentoring and companionship, and we have a relationship with them that is built on trust and a deep knowing that they are dependable, right? A disciple a disciple needs to know that they can depend on their mentor, and children are the same. And so we actually need to overfill our children's love bucket. Carrying them around for the first however many years is not going to make your children spoiled. It's not going to stifle them. In fact, the more you carry a child, the more they know that you are there for them no matter what, the more independent they'll become. So we have all of these myths around don't spoil the child,
Don't hold
but it's
that
actually
baby
not.
all day.
Right? It's not how it works. I run a circle on a Monday morning at the local park, and I take my grandbaby, and there's some other mums who come. And one of the mums was looking at her child wandering off to, to explore, and she said, "Oh, she's such an explorer." And I said, "But that's a compliment to you. She is so um, she's so strong and confident in your dependability and in her relationship with you, knowing that she can depend on you to save her, that she can depend on you to look after her, that she's happy to just wander off. She knows you're there." And it's a compliment. Children who know that their attachment is secure are happy to to attain maturation and independence. But I think the myth is that we need to create independent children. We actually don't. We need to create dependence, and from dependence comes maturity and independence. And one can't actually happen properly with it. We have a lot of less than mature adults running around in this world, and it's because they've never actually had anyone to depend on.
Mm.
So the greatest gift we can give our children is them knowing that we are always there. They can always depend on us.
I like that. That's good, especially with the child that was exploring, and you said, "Hey, that's a compliment to you because this child is going to go out and try things." And
Mm.
so many times, children are afraid, to try anything because they aren't in those positions where they see their parents exploring or experimenting or trying different things. And with technology taking over, these kids aren't doing anything but sitting like this or playing a game, and they're not challenging their brain to do much anymore. So I like that. And then, as you said, they always say, "Don't hold that baby too long or all day, or why it's sleep, you're going to spoil it." Well, you're giving that baby some love and that affection and that nurture that it needs, because children need that affection because they're going to grow up into a world that is not so nice all the time. And then you brought up the dependency, teaching them to depend. Now, my thing with that is that you said always being there for, I mean, what, for them. But what about the children when they get older and they're not listening? You sometimes got to pull away to teach them a lesson. That's what I would say with that. So I think that.
I don't think that's the research. If you read, I'd challenge you to read Gabor Mate and Gordon Neufeld's book, Hold On to Your Kids. They
Mhm.
talk about the fact that if your children are not listening to you, it's because they're not orienting to you. They're orienting to their peers or someone else. And so if you want to repair that, you actually need to be more in their face, a little bit less obvious with teenagers than what you would with young children, but be there, be available to them. Focus on the relationship with them first, because until you have relationship and it is dependable, they won't listen to anything you say. They'll just move further and further away. So withholding our love is never going to be the answer.
So with those teenagers, you're just suggesting find a way to create that bond and talk to them and stay there and hope that it flip over at some point and change and repair properly. Because sometimes that,
Absolutely.
that's hard because we know the teenager's mouth. And when they become defiant and they want to do what they want to do, it's like sometimes it's like, look, get your stuff and get out because I don't have time for this. But then after you do that, you still thinking about that's my baby, or if you do it, I miss him and this and that. So my next question is, and then we're gonna go into some of the services and making sure that the people could be able to connect with you. What would you say are the main things that a parent should be providing to their children on a regular basis outside of love?
Children need time. They need time with you. They need affection from you. They don't need they need you more than they need their peers. We have this real idea that children need to be socialized with peers in order to be able to get along and fit in. They don't need to fit in. I saw a great thing on social media recently, this idea that in order to children actually need to belong. They don't need to fit in. And when they belong,
Mm-hmm.
they belong because of what they bring, not because they fit the mold. So encouraging our children in their quirkiness, in their uniqueness, and giving them more adult time than they get children time. So we, our children are in schools and daycares and all of those things a lot. And
Mhm.
so we need to balance that out with time with adults and foster relationships. You talked about the book and the mentoring thing, right? So I talk to the mums that I work with or the dads that I work with about finding a mentor for themselves, and but allowing those mentors to also be part of the child's life.
Mm.
Children need more than one or two adults in their life to speak into their life, to help them to grow and learn and change. Um, and we need to foster relationships with, whether that's aunts and uncles, or the neighbor down the street, or heavens, it could be the scout leader or whoever it might be, just but people who can feed into that child's life. They need more adult time than they need time with their peers. So limit their play dates and all of that sort of thing, and actually have them spending more time with adults whom they can learn from, rather than the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. Other than that, they just need good food and less screen time.
Boy, and if you have boys, they eat good. So they definitely need a lot of food. And when you go to the grocery store, don't expect it to last for long, because they're going to be eating. You're going to have to go back again. Um, yeah, you have definitely given us a lot of good advice. This interview was great. So let the people know more about Fantastic Futures and the services that you provide, and if you have any upcoming events or promos, go ahead, and this is your time.
Thank you. So there's a couple of things that people can do. You can jump on to my website, which is fantasticfuture.com.au, or the other website I have is philippascott.com, and there are all sorts of different ways that you can get in touch with me there. Different products you can buy. So there's little mini courses and trainings where you can learn how to reset your nervous system, or learn how to identify your values and intentions as a parent. It's actually fantasticfuture.com.au. So there's no S and there's a .com in there, but that's okay. But jump on the email list so that you know when I'm putting things out. We've got a 5-day challenge for parents coming up soon. It's basically called Why Timeouts Can Kiss My Ass. And we have all sorts of great things on offer there. I've just launched the membership space. So right now there's a founding member price for um, for the for those who choose to join us early, which will give you bi-monthly coaching with me, so you can come in and ask all your questions. You get access to loads and loads of my resources. So it's $17 a month US. So it's very economical to join that, and you get lots of contact time. We're building communities. It gives you a chance to have mentorship. A lot of people don't trust their own parents in terms of their parenting advice, and so it can be really nice to have somebody that you can go to, ask a question, and know that their values are aligned with you, to know that it's all about being attached and having a relationship with your children. It's not about being permissive in the parenting, but it's about really meeting the needs of the parent and the child, and creating fantastic futures for both parties. So follow along on the socials. There's lots of great info there. The membership, I have an Instagram specifically for that as well, which is the Family Architect Studio, and you can jump on and find out all about the things that are there. I do one-on-one mental health work with people. I do one-on-one coaching, but I also have the groups and the membership style coaching as well. So you can do a few things at once. That's me. I have a podcast, which is called Philippa Squared Parenting by Design.
All right, you guys, make sure you check her out. I put some of the information, especially her Instagram, and throughout the week we're going to be promoting this show. And you guys make sure that you share and reshare and reshare. I'm going to give a shout out to Tracy McLean, who's listening on Facebook. She said she has the boys with their company, and she said that she look at them as her extended sons. Yes, and when they come over, they eat too. Those extended sons like to go in that fridge and eat too, or always Miss such and such, what you cooking? What you cooking? I have grown boys now, so they're more so out and about, and one is living on his own. But we're getting ready to take a quick break, and then we're going to come right back and dismiss my special guest for today. I thank you guys for listening right here on the Stub Show.
What's up, you guys? I just want to let you know that I am seeking book authors to become a guest on our show. Now, it was Instagram Live, but now we're on all three platforms: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So, this is your way to grow and reach more people. Don't forget to email us at the lofnetwork at gmail.com. And you can become a guest on the show and also have your book placed within the show. All right, you guys, I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Guys, make sure you keep the conversation going and join us on YouTube at the Leap of Faith Network. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and also keep the conversation going on Facebook weekly with our updates at the Stub Show. So make sure you go on there and like that as well. Also, if you just started a brand, took a leap of faith, or have a business and you want to share your testimony, your backstory, how you got things started, then we need you as a guest right here on the Stub Show. It's time to take that leap of faith, so connect with us so we can help you. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Stub Show. I thank you guys for that quick break. Remember, I'm also looking for guests for this November and December. And I'm looking for commercials. So if you guys have commercials or you want to promote your brand, make sure you connect with me, because every time someone reshares and rewatch and repost this show and I keep sharing, they're going to see your promo within it. And Christmas time is coming up. So if you have a product, you need to hurry up and get it out there. I'm getting ready to bring my special guest back to the stage as we get ready to end this show. But I forgot to say, shout out to Tracy McLean, who's also a wedding officiant. I don't know if I said that, but you guys can check her out on Facebook if you're getting ready to get married before you become a parent, or you want to just get married. You can connect with her, Tracy McLean, McClain, right here on Instagram or Facebook. So we're getting ready to bring my special guest back to the stage so we can get this interview ending. So you already let the people know what you got going and how they can connect with you. And I thank you for being a guest on the show and giving us that wonderful advice and tips. I hope that more shows that see this will bring you onto their show, as well as I hope that some of the people who need some advice and tips and help with parenting will connect with you so they can get what they need and do the work so that they can be the parent, the successful parent that they need to and want to be. Now, I never let my guests leave without asking them to exit the show with something positive. Leave our guests with whatever it is that you want to say. You go ahead and close us with something positive from you.
I would challenge parents to consider that their children are someone that they are in relationship with, and to really honor that relationship in every decision that you make. So when you have a decision to make about how you approach a problem or anything else with your child, think about how will this affect our relationship, just like you would if it was a partner or somebody else in your life, a friend. How is my reaction going to affect our relationship? And let that be your guide, because it can, having a relationship with your children is the only way for you to influence them. And it is totally possible. And it's totally possible to do without being permissive.
Mm, I like that. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us here on the Stub Show. You continue to have a phenomenal rest of your day and loving up on those grandbabies.
Thank you. And
All
thanks for
right.
having me.
All right. Bye bye. I thank you for joining. Remember, you guys, you can check her out on Instagram at Fantastic Futures with the S, birth underscore beyond. Parenting isn't easy. I know it isn't for me. And this show came right on time because I actually have some repairing work to do with my children, and things that I need to get together. And I'm going to make sure that I do the work. That I do the work to get that done so that our future can be better. And I love what she said. Just like we repair our relationships in a loving relationship with our spouses, or we go back and apologize or get counseling and do therapy, we have to think about that with our children, because that's our blood, that's our lifeline, that's the one that's going to hopefully be there for you forever, from death do you apart. So you will pass away and your children will be there with you. So if you know you need to get the work done, get it done. I know I need to get the work done because I'm working on me already. And I know that the work that I'm doing with me is going to help there. And if I need to work now, at the adult age that I am now, I know that there's some things that I did as a young mom that affected my children and carried on and carried on. So we're getting ready to put up um, our music artist for today, and then we're going to get ready to end the show when I come right back here on the Stub Show. Let's see if I can get this on to play properly. Here we go. Ew.
Don't go, stay a while. Don't go, stay a while. Don't go, stay a while. How do you love like that? How do you love like that? Like that. How do you love like that? Give love, don't get love right back. Right back. How do you love like that? How do you love like that? Like that, like that. How do you love like that? Give love, but don't get love right back. I gotta know before you go. Don't go, stay a while. Don't go, stay a while. Stay a while. How do you love like that? How do you love like that? How do you love like that? Give love, but don't get love right back. I gotta know before you go. Yeah, why's your love so unconditional? Did God condition your heart, your mind, your body, your soul? Or were you just made to love?
All right, you guys, make sure you check out that artist Data's DEIY Vibrations. She's on Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram, she's probably on there now and on YouTube. So make sure you check it out. That's called Stay a While. I love the flow of that. It's just like, don't go, stay a while. Okay, I know I can't sing, but just the flow, it's like, don't go, just stay a while. Just stay right here, stay a while. So let's run those numbers up. Go on YouTube and check that out. If you are a music artist and you want your video played here on the Stub Show, you can just connect with us and we will make that happen. Next week, coming up on Wednesday of this week, y'all know it's an election year. It's time to get out and vote. We got a couple of more days left. I am bringing on an ANC council member from Washington, D.C., Miss Caprice Case, and she's out of Ward 7. She needs your vote. She wants you to support her. So make sure you log back on with us on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about her agenda, and I definitely want to get into the crime in the youth of DC and how she see herself helping with that. But we got some wonderful interviews coming up in the future. So you guys don't go, stay a while. That's right. See you next week for another episode right here on the Stub Show. Bye, you guys.